Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here for another Arrow review. This time it's City of Blood, episode 21. There's only 2 episodes left of the season. But, obviously this episode picks up pretty much where the last one left off with Moira's death. Obviously, like we said...
Do you know how long it takes to plan a funeral?
We don't know how much time is skipped.
You said picks up right where we left off.
Well, actually, okay... I mean, it picks up with what we saw.
Okay.
We don't know how much time has actually passed. All we know is, yes, Moira's funeral is happening, which was a really nice scene, and it's nice to see everyone back and paying their respects. And we got to see Walter for... I don't know if this honestly could be the last appearance of Walter.
Maybe.
I honestly don't remember if he ever shows up again. This may be the last appearance of Walter, which makes sense. Why would he appear? But, you know, it was nice to see Walter there, even though, like we said, they broke up a year ago. But, you know, he was also there for Thea and stuff. But, yeah, it was a nice scene, and we also find, you know, everyone's there at the funeral, including both Sebastian and Isabella Rochev. But we'll get into both of those people later. But speaking of the funeral, I suppose we'll talk about Thea. Thea is running away. But to be honest, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's... she's grieving, she doesn't have much for her here.
Roy's gone, her mother's gone, everything's going insane, and, you know, as far as, even though she doesn't know this, Oliver had a good point, not just to leave because of her emotions, but because he knows all hell's about to break loose. Unfortunately, she was still at the train station when all hell broke loose. But we'll get into something really good with Thea next episode. But I still liked all the Thea scenes. It was really nice. Like I said, I've said this, the end of Season 2 and the start of Season 3, but the end of Season 2 is Thea's turning point.
Yeah, I actually do remember, I think, what comes next with her.
Yeah, I remember where Thea's going, and I love everything that happens. Like I said, I've always been... At the start, I'm always hit and miss. Like, you know, Season 1, she can be all over the place. She has some good moments, but she can often be just a moody idiot. Same with some of Season 2, but this is the end. I mean, Thea also didn't just lose her mother and her home. She's also lost her club. She's lost literally everything that she matters to. Roy's gone, she's got no club, she's got no home. The house is empty, because remember, they're broken, Moira's gone, so... I don't know why. I really don't know why I thought of this, but that last scene where you just see Thea walking around the empty house about to leave and she turns the light off, it reminded me of the opening of the 7th Harry Potter movie.
Yeah!
Yeah, when he's looking around the empty house one last time. Because you gotta think, this was Thea's childhood home and she's leaving it, so... It really is a lot for Thea. But... That's about it. I mean, we did see Thea was at the train station when all hell broke loose, which we'll catch up on next time, but that's about it for Thea. But Thea had some really nice moments. You know who else had some really good moments? Laurel.
Yeah, I guess so.
She did. Well, first off, she got to say she was right. We said this a few episodes ago.
She found evidence.
But Laurel was right because, for some reason, Sebastian Blood is dumb enough to have a letter ready to go before anything has happened. What an idiot.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I know what's happening, I'll be prepared. I'll start typing up my thingy saying, oh, I feel bad, she's dead.
What a stupid villain he is. What an idiot.
At least save it somewhere really, really private.
I mean, whatever. But Laura had some good moments saying she was right. She got to prove she's right. She got to have that moment with Oliver telling him everything, which, you know, I love how Oliver's been missing out on a step, and that was the one clue. But...
Yeah, she just shows up and she's like, oh, I was, Slade told me it was you, and then I reached out to your friends, and, I don't know, it just seemed kind of off, and like it would have been great if we could see her do that, but...
Yeah, that's a bit of an odd point. Oliver just wakes up and she's there. But, you know, I did like the scenes where she spoke with him, and of course, obviously, she followed him along. And the episode kind of ends on a cliffhanger with Laurel as well, because she follows him along to face the army, and then he breaks the building, and that's it for them. But, you know, there's a lot in this episode, and Laurel had some really good moments. She got to be right about Sebastian, and obviously, we had Oliver confronting Sebastian, which... It was a nice scene. It didn't really amount to much, but it was there.
Yeah.
But, I suppose this is this is where everyone really knows what Sebastian is, so no matter what happens, his career is going to be over. But
Yeah.
obviously, we see him leading the army, and, the thing is, it shows how loyal he is to Slade, and he doesn't doubt anything when Oliver says, oh, do you think you're gonna have everything you want, and so on.
Yeah, he's also really confident. He's like, there's nothing you can do to stop us.
But I suppose we have to talk about Oliver, because for the first half he's missing and he's being moody and alone.
Yeah, I know. I hated him in this one. He can't decide whether he's an optimist or pessimist, because most of the time he's like, I have to try. There's always a way. I'll find a way. And this time he's just like, I give up. Kill me. Go ahead.
It just feels like something Barry would do, where he just needs his friends to say, hey, you could do it. But, I mean, he needed Laurel to say, hey, you can do it, because before then he was like, nah, it's over. Then he's like, fine, I'm going to give myself to Slade. Which, that's about it. I suppose he did bring up the line where he's like, this is where it all began when I got on the boat.
Mm.
But that's about it. I agree. I didn't really care for, Oliver being moody and alone and all that stuff.
Mm.
And he brings up this second base, which has never been seen before or since. Yeah, remember that supposed second base, which never gets brought up before or since.
I thought, like we've said, I don't have a good memory of stuff, but since he had that base as backup, I figured that might get turned into a later base.
No, because both of the later bases are in locations we already know of.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll get to those when we get to them. Because we've actually seen the location of the base that we end up with.
Oh, I think I remember.
We'll get to that, but it's very clever. Nobody would think of it. It's nothing you'd think of if you haven't seen it before, but it's just very clever.
Yeah.
But what else? But, we had the Thea stuff, we had Laurel, we had Moira's funeral, which was really good, but I suppose, I have to give compliments to a nice little scene, which I don't know what exactly it amounted to, because we never found out what that guy had, but we did have Diggle and Felicity interrogating a guy.
Oh, yeah.
That was such a nice scene. For some reason, I remember it happening near the end of season 1, and I kept wondering when it happened, and when I saw that scene, I was like, oh wow, I forgot this scene hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Felicity's the best at interrogating.
It's just a fun scene where for once Felicity gets being interrogated, but she does it in a way where even though she's stealing his money, she's donating his money to charity.
Yeah. Although I didn't like that she then targeted his parents'
But she never did do anything,
money.
so we don't know if she was bluffing, but she knew that was the button she needed to press to get him to say what he said.
What if he didn't? Was
But, okay,
she gonna...
Okay, but
his
like I said...
parents could be innocent.
But we never even find out who was this guy and why were they interrogating him? There was
no one cares.
But whatever. Yeah, but the ending, culminates in Slade's army is ready, they're walking the streets, and to make everything worse, we've already had Isabella Rochef being a bitch at the start of the episode, but now we found out, we knew she took the Mirakuru, but now we found out she's got a mask and she has swords. That's something we never saw coming. But I remember it leading to a funny scene next episode.
Okay.
But I suppose, we did have Felicity getting a call from Star Labs, so obviously something's happening with the Mirakuru cure. And Roy's been asleep for the whole episode. He's just there. The whole scene. He's just sitting on that table.
That'd be fun for the actor. Alright, buddy, just go to sleep on the table and we'll do the scene around you.
But that's pretty much it. Sarah's still missing, Thea's going away, everything's happening. It is very similar to the third last episode of season 1, where the episode itself is not huge, but it ends on a lot of huge notes.
Yeah, they're trying to build up to it, but honestly, I wasn't all that interested most of the time.
Well, that's what I said.
It felt like it was dragging on, and I'm like, is the episode almost done?
There was a few scenes which wasn't really needed, but that's the thing. I'm excited because I know what's coming, but like I said, it's the third last episode. It exists purely to set the stage. The last 2 episodes are usually really huge. So, this episode, it may have been kind of soft in the middle. I enjoyed the Moira funeral scene, But, the ending is exciting, but that's it. It's exciting because, okay, we're setting a stage. This is it. The last 2 episodes are going to be big. All the pieces are in place. Well, most of them. But
yeah, we still got 2 whole episodes.
2 whole episodes, and I remember them being very big. And, like a lot of finales with Arrow, I often forget where one ends. Like, really can't remember, like, I know what happens in the next 2 episodes, but I really can't remember, like, what's the first part, what's the second part. It reminds me of season 1 when we watched the second part, like, we watched the second last episode, and a lot of stuff didn't happen. I'm thinking, wow, that finale's going to be huge then. But still, a lot of stuff is going to happen. But I do agree that, a setting the stage episode is exciting, but it's like, all it is setup. It's all just putting the pieces in place.
Yeah.
Which, is fun, but it's hard to rate the episode because it's more for what comes
6.
later. I'm going to give it a 7. It's very exciting, but we're waiting for the next 2 episodes, which I will obviously say the next 2 episodes are really fun. I will say, I remember season 2's finale being one of my favorite. Like, I remember the first time I watched it being so excited for that finale. It's really good. So, yeah. And I do remember it being better than the first season, which was already a really good finale.
Yeah.
But the last 2 episodes are really big. What is the second last episode called?
Streets of Fire.
Like I said, I'm giving a 7, you're giving a 6?
Yep.
Next episode is Streets of Fire. A very random name, but I suppose it just means, hey, chaos, crazy, woo!
Basically.
But the next episode is the second last episode, Streets of Fire. We will see you next time.